Carlos, first of all, congratulations on the stoppage win. It wasn't a stoppage at first, but obviously they went back and reversed it. Did you know that he had tapped in there at the end of the fight?
I did feel something. I felt that he was tapping, and then I heard my coaches calling out for the tap. But I wasn't going to let it go. And the coaches were yelling out 45 seconds to go, so I just ran in those punches. So yeah, I kept it smart at that point. I knew that he'd fight to come back at that point as well. 30 seconds to go, and I just smashed.
We see the boot on your foot. What exactly happened to it?
A bit of kicking in the exchanges in there. So yeah, I think it just swelled up. Bit of kicking off the cage. I think I kicked the cage, my toe got stuck in the cage at one point there, so yeah.
In a media day, you said you knew this was going to be a tough fight from Woon Jung.
Sure.
But just based, even though he was on the 2-fight losing streak, he is a very durable opponent. So did this fight play out like you expected?
Exactly, yeah. I knew he'd come in with the game plan that he had. He tried to sort of play out the game and see if I'd push through and tire myself out. And I felt that that's what he was trying to do. But I felt that I was just a bit too quick on the mark there, and used my jab efficiently. And I think that's my game plan is to wait on what he'd do and what he'd throw. And yeah, I think I got what I needed was the dog fight. So and moving forward, this is where I need to be tested even more.
And you, of course, called out Reyes after. Why specifically do you like that matchup?
I like it because he's been in there. He's been in there with Jon Jones. 5 rounds with Jon Jones. We know how that went out. So I think that'll be a step up big time. And he's at number 13 right now, and that's a spot that I want.
And this might be a strange question, but do you know who Bill Goldberg is?
Goldberg?
Yeah.
The wrestler?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Did you?
I heard. Ulberg. Yeah, wicked, eh? It was nice. I felt like I could feel it too, and I felt.
Well, we saw you at one of the beginnings of the round. You were like crouched down, and I was like, "Well, he's gonna spear. He has to spear him now."
Wicked.
Any chance you can walk out to his song in your next fight?
Who knows? Maybe. Yeah. With me, I just go with the feels. Heidi is usually pounding me on fight week for my fight song, so she's always getting me to the very last minute for my song. So I kind of just go with how I feel very close to the fight. And last minute I just gave her my song, which was The Conquer from Sweat It. So yeah, thank you.
Obviously you're known as the Black Jag, so how about the Jag Hammer as the finishing move?
Jag Hammer, oh nice. I like what you did there.
And of course Sampara. Just want to quickly get your feelings on being a part of this event with the team. Obviously ups and downs, and the event is still going, but what's it feel like to be able to step out? 6 fights in one night is a historic thing for you guys, especially considering you came into the UFC and sort of built out a lot of the cards now for quite some time. What's the feeling like to be a part of this historic night?
Yeah, I feel like I'm building, and I'm continuing to build, and I know I'm going to get to this next fight that I want is that top 15, and then I'll go top 10, and then I want to go from there, just continue to push. I want to get that title, and I know I'll get there. It's just a matter of finding getting those fights and getting into the right cards to get those fights, the right fights. So it's good to have the whole team here, not only just CKB, but we've got a few of the boys like Tuffa and Ty in there as well, who are close friends of myself, and I've been in camp with them, with Mark Hunt as well in previous times. So we're all close, and we're all in the same corner right now. So in the red corner right now, it's beaming. Everyone's just feeling the vibes. The energy is high. So I'm loving it back there. And after this, I'll go back and hopefully I'll get to see Ty's fight, which is coming up soon. So I want to watch that one. That one's going to be crazy. I know the whole Sydney is just going to be roaring for it. But anything is possible.
And Carlos, just over here, with the title picture at light heavyweight and the top of the division being somewhat open, does that add any extra motivation to you that, you know, with a couple of wins, you could very quickly insert yourself into the title picture? And I'd argue it's one of the best times to be an up-and-coming light heavyweight. Yeah,
for sure. I mean, the light heavyweight division is scarce. I mean, you don't have one predominant person in that division. And right now I see that Dominick Reyes is in a position where top 15 where I can get that. I can grab that off him. But he's a name, and he's not somebody. I mean, you've seen him. He's the last fights that he's lost to have been guys who have been champions now. So with that, I think that's a guy for me to test myself. He's been in there 5 rounds with the GOAT. He's held the belt himself. He knows, and I think he's had a bit of time off for himself. So I think me getting in there would be a perfect time for me to grab that. And I think he's going to be the perfect person to test my abilities. And with that said as well, I think this is what the people want, and this is what everyone wants to see is myself and Dominick Reyes. He's a big opponent.
For sure. And last one from me, I was just wondering if you could speak to, the impact that City Kickboxing and, your teammates and coaches there have had on your, rapid development as a mixed martial artist in the game today.
Massive. Obviously, we've got the world champion. We've got 2 world champions who are with us. And you feed off that energy. We've got a lot of guys in the UFC, in our team. You feed off that energy. But with me, I'm growing as I'm going. So I'm fighting in all these different shows with the UFC, and I'm just learning. I want to get as good as I can. I want to be the ultimate fighter. Not just be the champion, but I want to be the ultimate fighter. I want to be the best that I can be. So I want to learn as I go. And I felt that Jung was a good step for that. I know that he had a great ground game. He's a complete fighter. So for me to finish him the way that I did was a statement, especially with the tap, take him down and finish him the way I did.
Carlos, just one quick one from me. You spoke about how tough he was tonight as an opponent. Would you say he was the toughest fight of your career so far?
For sure, yeah. Jung is he's a smart fighter, and I know that what he was trying to do. I knew that he was going to try to play out the fight and see where I'd make the mistake. I know that he's seen my fights previously and maybe see if I could blow myself out. He's a smart fighter. His team is smart. But I'm smarter, and I've done my study. I've had people who translate for me to just to see where their head's at, and I think that's what you need to do. You learn off the greatest. So that's what I needed to do, moving in for this fight, and I did that.
Carlos, mate, congrats on another very, very handsome victory. Mate, you've had 5 wins in a row now. Do you reckon maybe your next step, you've called out Dominick Reyes, but are you ready for maybe a 5-round main event, fight night type of thing?
For sure, yeah, for sure. I think this is it. We're moving forward, and I think I'm not going to hold back anymore now. So I've proved myself. And I wanted this dogfight. I wanted this 3-round with Jung. He's a hard fight, and I know it. So moving forward, this is the next step. I can go 5 rounds. I can prepare myself for 5 rounds, and we can do it. We can do it in the Vegas Apex or wherever we need to be. So I'm ready, man. I want that title, and more or less, I want to continue to grow and grow. I'll get better.
Yeah, enjoyable, mate. Well done.
I'm getting younger.
And better looking, I'm telling you.
Kia ora, Carlos. You showed a lot of patience in this fight, throwing a lot of jabs, and you even pulled back on a few overhand rights. Was that part of the plan of you think he's going to try to gas you out and you're just going to sit back?
I could see that he was lining up his elbow. I knew that he throws a lot of his elbow, his right elbow. So I could see that it was twitching his right elbow as I was coming in for the feint of the right hand. So I knew it would be a dangerous one if I threw that. I could line him up at the right space, the right time with the jab. And the jab was working. That's all I needed to do. And I could see that it was getting agitated by the jab. So I thought if I was going to throw the right hand, it would be tricky if I did. So just keep what I'm good at, stay fast, keep my distance. I knew that he wasn't finding the right range with me. So if I just kept my long jab, a stiff jab, he would eventually fall.
And with the 4 Samoan fighters on the card, the Usos are 3 for 4, almost there.
Yeah.
You said a lot of Samoan flags in the media day. Do you see that coming true now?
I did see it, yeah. It was a flood of red flags. So, yeah, we've got one more fight, which is Ty. Is he on right now? Is he on soon?
No, next fight.
Next fight. So, yeah, I can't wait to go watch him. He's going to be the last one of the Samoan boys to go in there and represent. And I see there is a massive following of the Samoan flags, as there's always been. We've had Mark Hunt in the past who's started that. And now we get to enjoy the fruits of our own labour.
And you talked about your next fight being Dominick Reyes. I want to propose an alternative where you fight Robert Whittaker for the undisputed Musashi spokesman.
Yeah, right. Musashi need to help me out. I bought my Musashi sponsor here, Jeremy, who's a New Zealand representative, who's been with me for a long time, and I brought him over to see how it all goes, and hopefully we break into something bigger for Musashi.
Well, congratulations again.
Thank you so much. One more question.
Just one more?
One more.
Did you feel extra pressure to perform for New Zealand after the All Blacks and Warriors both lost?
Man, I didn't even watch the game, but with me, I just focus on myself and I do my thing, and I knew I was going to do it. Yesterday, I did all the visualization, I did everything that I needed to do. I knew it was going to happen. It's just a matter of doing it.